episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our supreme and master speakers, Omeji Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Circa Barrakiel, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Azuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstadter, Nat Clay, Lily Black, Bob Cece, Mikto Robintau, Sapa Chakwatol, Edwin, Arcadia Lunashine, Umbral Wind, Quick Levin, Pamela Isley, Camille Grinno, Elenriel Maximus, Coderith Novelist, Mira Miri, Suno Chicano, Celestau Notrell, Lazy Boy, A Wild Sarah, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Stormarrow, Tex, Kai Lin, AJ Brainswordson, Anathos Moonscar, Arthur Law, Beridan Derard, Sypup, Spencer Christmas, Noy Fafnir, Cheshire Saltiri, Celine DeLune, Wibsta Wolf, Face on Masher, and Severa. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 320 on Lakil Braveston, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston, Mail of Anadar, and Rollo Des. Hello. It is October 8th, 2022, and we are just coming off the 14-hour stream. It ended like an hour ago or two, I think, when we started this
about
episode.
2 hours ago now.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that today. That's the main topic. So make sure you're ready for that. Make sure you're ready for that because we're going to talk about it.
Ready?
That's it. That's our main story. I don't think we have time for Mogmail either. We're just going to talk about the 14-hour stream. Stay tuned for the post show. We have a whopping 2 questions from the syndicate that we will answer, and I'll just mention again that Spooktober is underway. So on our channel, you'll see spooky games throughout the month.
The spookiest it's ever been in terms of issues.
Yeah.
Terrified.
Yeah. Mila does have a point. The spookiest part about Spooktober is all the issues that we've been experiencing. It turns out I'm getting punished for having a modern computer, essentially. 10th gen CPUs, Intel CPUs, don't work well with older games, so...
And by older games, we're talking about games from, like, 2019.
Yeah, games that were supported by the previous generation, so, like, Gen 9. Yeah, we've had some issues with that, but I think we might have had a permanent solution due to what we did last time. So hopefully that will be...
Sounds ominous.
Well, we found some stuff that we had to do.
This game,
for
a minimum. We'll see what happens for this.
Yeah, well, that was a system-wide change that I did, though. It was a registry edit. So...
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully that's...
Getting deep in there, huh?
Yeah.
So if you people enjoy watching Lakil inflict permadeath on characters in story relevant games.
Let's just say yesterday we played Song of Horror, and it has permadeath. It has a character gallery, and if you die, that character's dead, and the story
you've
adapts.
not killed the woman, have you?
Mela, we killed all of them.
Except the one that's not relevant moving forward.
And as you progress, people get like more and more detached from the story that remains. We got to the last character, and we had to turn permadeath off because we thought we are going to die here.
We turned it off, but it wouldn't have mattered because she never actually died. Thankfully,
no.
Not that it matters because she's the only one of the 4 characters we started off with, Mela, that doesn't continue in the story.
Yeah, she's just a random, essentially. That's just the game being like, okay, this is your last chance. It's just a random we picked off the street.
Yeah,
good luck.
Just, the clerk from 7-Eleven down the street. Yeah, they're part of the story now.
I mean, she was just a random electrician, Rollo.
Yeah, she was. It was pretty, Game's spooky, but Jesus Christ, it's difficult. All right. So, anyways, Spooktober tomorrow is Ghost Hunters? Ghost Watchers. Ghost Watchers.
I was looking this up yesterday and I was like, Ghost Hunters? That doesn't look scary at all.
Right. Ghost Watchers. All right.
Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, that's pretty spooky.
The scariest game of all.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on then to recent. Believe it or not, we do have recent events, so let's talk about that. Right. Well, our recent events is a bit of a weird one. There's this security update from Square Enix. I got an email like a few weeks ago. I think I posted it in our speakers channel, but it was about like, please ensure that you have your backup codes for your security token. Double check that you have that, the emergency password. And now we get this post just a few days ago. And it's titled "Precautions for Guarding Against Unauthorized Account Access." And it reads, "We are currently experiencing an attack by a third party that is attempting to gain access to the Square Enix account management system by using a combination of email addresses and passwords that appear to have been obtained from other online services of other companies. Using the same email address and password combination for your Square Enix account as you do for other online services increases the possibility of a third party gaining unauthorized access to your Square Enix account. Furthermore, even if your email address and password combination is not identical to those used for other services, there is still a high risk of your account being compromised if your password contains easily discernible patterns or sequences of characters, such as your date of birth. Should you happen to be using the same email address and password combination on your Square Enix account as you do for another service, or if you're using a password that can be easily guessed, we strongly recommend changing your password immediately." And then they give you a link to where you can reset your password. Mm-hmm. "We are currently mitigating the effect of the attack by restricting access to accounts that we believe may have been compromised by unauthorized users. If your Square Enix account login has been restricted, an email will be sent to the email address registered to your Square Enix account with instructions on resetting your password." And then they talk about one-time passwords. I mean, you should have a one-time password enabled.
They've made it easier than ever before.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
If you don't, then, I don't...
Don't risk it.
Yeah.
What if they take all your guild?
Yes.
Your house.
On something...
Exactly.
Yeah. On something as valuable as your island sanctuary. For, an MMO account... It's pretty valuable considering how much time you've sunk into that shit. So it's
Thousands
shit
of hours
when you lose it.
Gone.
Yeah. Should we continue to experience rising numbers of unauthorized access attempts? Oh, actually, I should read about the one-time passwords. For those of you that for some reason don't have one. One-time passwords are temporary verifications which authenticate a user for a single login, making them highly effective against spyware such as keyloggers. We strongly recommend the use of one-time passwords in conjunction with your login ID and password for increased security against unauthorized access. A free software token app is available for smartphones. Yeah, it is so easy to set up. And you can use any authenticator now, right? They've made it so that you can use your favorite authenticator app. Should we continue to experience rising numbers of unauthorized access attempts, a password reset for all Square Enix accounts may be initiated. We would like to remind all users to be mindful of their account security in order to protect personal information and data. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
You're not still using your Unborn token, are you? Oh, sorry, your 1.0 token, are you?
I have retired it. And it hasn't run out of battery yet, but I had to press that button so hard. At the end, I'm like, I'm going to break this at some point.
Which one are you using now?
I'm just using a software authenticator now on my phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you had other
I have a Realm Reborn. I have the Heavensward one. I don't want to use them at this point. Yeah.
I feel like both kind of make me nervous. I mean, I prefer the phone authenticator one, but I feel like every time I change phones, which is like every few years, like every 4 to 5 years maybe, because I keep my phones for a long time.
Yeah.
I always forget one authenticator or two. And I swear one day it's going to be like my fucking 14 account, and I've got rid of my phone. Be like, I fucking traded in to T-Mobile, so like,
yeah.
Lost. That's it, and I don't know where my temporary password is, and I'm just gonna die.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
or I just or the battery dies and the authenticators, and like, well, I guess I'll just cry now.
Yeah, that's the scary. Yeah, trading it in that if you trade in your phone, that's scary because if you have like I don't know how this works. I've been locked into the Apple system for so long. I don't even remember what it's like to have an Android phone. But when you have an Apple phone and you just enter your credentials, everything's just in there now. Like I don't even. Last time I switched my phone, I didn't even think about my authenticator. It was just there in the new phone. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have to do anything anymore. But if you trade it in, I think they reset your phone, right? I don't know how that. I guess it would still work.
I would reset your phone before you give it away as well.
Yeah,
I think they can tell you have to reset it before.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be very extra careful. But I would,
yeah.
I normally buy phones and then just put a SIM in. I usually do. Yeah, I usually do SIM deals.
Yeah,
and I don't change my phone very often either.
I kind of wish we had those. I know there's like some controversy behind it because it's not like as secure or as good as it is out to be. But I like those little USB keys,
Oh
as
yeah.
authenticators that people do.
Yeah.
I like the physicalness of it, which is good.
Like you plug it in, and that's like your key to unlock it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
think there's like some kind of security issue with it, from what I've heard. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But but I like that it's like, oh, there's no input on your side, just. Because it's fucking annoying to put in the security code every time because it's just such a random string of numbers.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. Anyways, what we were saying about the password, the authenticator apps usually carry over when you switch phones now, is what I'm trying to say. Because that happened to me. So that part, I feel like back in the old days, that was scary. I do remember switching from like my iPhone 4 to like iPhone 6. I don't remember.
Ooh, nice.
That didn't go smoothly. So I had to like use my old phone for a long time as an authenticator because I couldn't get the authenticator app onto my phone because it was so it was horrible. But that is different now. It just, if you think that is a problem and that's why I don't want a software authenticator, it's not like that anymore. So don't worry about it.
Or just get the little token.
Or you can get the token. You can buy the token on the store. They're like $20 or less, I think. Maybe 10.
Depends on where you live.
Recommend one of them, please. You get a little thing too in game. What do we get? An extra teleport?
Yes,
or something?
you get a free teleport.
Extra favorite.
Oh yeah, sorry, extra favorite.
Extra favorite teleport.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
So definitely worth it.
Yes. All right. Let's move on then to. We're not doing Mogmail today. There it is.
Oh.
No. You know, I love this. This is
the worst one.
Yeah.
This is the worst one.
I think the Sin Eater is still worse, but I do agree. This is probably near the top.
The Sin Eater. They're both very high up here. This one instills fear in me in the same way as the Sin Eater one, but. There's just something about this dude. It doesn't even look like him. Yeah, the eyes are off-putting.
It's the nose.
The nose, the little snout.
It's hard to tell if the nose is his skin color or if they've got like coral pink number 6.
No, I think it's not his skin color.
No, it's just a prosthetic thing that they put on.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
You don't need to add a wine bottle to this graphic. This is bizarre enough.
This speaks for itself.
And then just Yoshi P.
Yeah, and then look at Yoshi P. Like throughout.
I loved that during the live letter they were just set so far apart.
Yeah,
like, I'm not.
Yeah,
I can't be next to that.
There's a moment in the stream in the very beginning of it where Yoshi P's first, like where he sees him for the first time, and there's just this moment of like. What is this? It's such a good picture. He's just so far away and just staring at him. It's like, what are you doing?
Just
it's
a
like,
creature.
Well, yeah. And then during the live letter part itself, he's like explaining something while Foxcall asks him the question, and he turns to him and he sort of like does a double take.
Yeah.
You can't take him seriously at that proximity.
No. There are lots
all
of
for it.
horrible close-ups as well that's been posted on Twitter and on Instagram and whatever.
Great memes.
Yeah. It's one of it's top two outfits.
Oh, it's definitely, yeah. I'm a big fan.
Okay, well, let's talk about the live letter. And don't worry, chat. There are no other slides. This is the only slide you'll see for the rest of the episode. So enjoy that bunny, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy Spooktober.
You know what? Let's bring back a classic phrase. Thanks. I hate it.
Okay, so let's jump into some of the information that we got. Patch 6.25 will be released on October 18th. So we got the dates immediately. So that's good. We also actually got the date for 6.28, which I believe was November 1st.
I believe it's November 1st.
Yeah. So there you go. You mark your calendars for that. All Saints. Well, this was. We're just gonna do the dates. Let's just get the dates over with because they're listed on the top here. This is from the Reddit post that has like the summary of it. Believe me, there's not much about the live letter part that we're gonna talk about today because it was a very short. There was like it was split in two. There was the live letter sort of information part, and then there was a Q&A with the main scenario writers, which honestly was just sort of rehashing stuff we kind of already knew. They've talked about this before in a way. This was just more of the same. And then the first half was also split in two. There was like a recap of what we have, and then what we got in the previous patch, and then what's to come. All Saints Wake. Believe it or not, we're getting a second All Saints Wake this year because we got one at the beginning of the year. We're also getting one now at the appropriate time. That starts on October 19th. There was a little graphic. I probably should have added that here, but there was a graphic.
I wish you did because that graphic itself is very perplexing.
It is.
Without context.
Yeah, it's full of gorillas and...
It's nonsense.
It is.
Frankly?
It looks like nonsense. So let's jump into some of the stuff that they revealed. The stuff that we're getting this patch, more Hildebrand. Didn't talk about anything regarding the relic. So
not how it's gonna work. No, nothing. Just like, hey, it's coming.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, that's the Mandeville weapons. They did talk about the tribal quests, the Omicrons. I do have a picture though that we can show about from
Show
the.
us a picture.
Yeah, they showed it. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of visuals that they gave us in this live letter, but they did give us.
They gave us 2 new screenshots.
Yeah, essentially.
This is one of them.
Yeah. Here we go. In a second. Here. Let's go. Oh, why are we off here?
Nice
why are we off? Where are we? Oh. Oh boy. Okay.
Well, you get the idea. You get the idea.
Surely you get the idea.
You get the idea. It's space, but they've turned it into a nice, pretty garden.
I can't tell if it's a result of like just the items in the foreground being brighter, or if this is signifying that like all of Ultima Thule will get brighter, because the background, I can't tell if the sky looks like that now or if it's just...
No, it definitely doesn't look that blue. I don't think it's not that bright.
It
might be an instance.
Yeah,
it could be an instance location like we had with the pixies.
Yeah,
true.
I think that's probably more likely because this would be a very significant change for them to make for Ultima.
It would be nice to make it a bit brighter because it's
it would be.
Yeah.
It's a little rough on the eye. Like, it's cool when, during the story sequence, but going back there to do stuff, it's like, oh, I want to be able to see.
Especially the Dragon Star is still very, very dark.
Yes.
Does this suggest we can manipulate Dynamis or something?
We've had the ability to manipulate Dynamis for a while, Mela.
Yeah.
But at least within this space where there's... Well, within Ultima Thule, we're able to manipulate it to a greater degree because there's no ether to drown it out.
That's true.
But who knows what's causing this?
They also showed in the same breath this outfit.
This is super cool.
Yeah.
Every samurai has to wear this now.
No.
Yeah.
I've studied the blade while you went to math class.
Well, when I saw this, I first thought of Men in Black in relation to the Omicrons and like doing an alien beast tribe.
Yeah.
But he mentioned that there's a popular spy anime on right now, so you know what he's talking about with that.
It's the one with all the pornography, just like every.
That's every popular anime, Rollo. That's so unclear.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. He also so they really they kind of just showed that off and didn't really not much elaborating on that. I will say that when they were talking about before they showed all this stuff that we're getting in the next patch, they talked about like Barbaricia and the how they've evolved in like arena design in trials, and how the hair, you know that mechanic, the hair, the circles in the arena where you have to stay in the circle, how that shows how far they've come in terms of how they can manipulate the arena and mechanics. It was very interesting. It's like, again, one of those things that if you go back and look at like old trials, arena's pretty static. There's not much happening there.
They talked about how difficult it is to make it clear that to the player that like you weren't supposed to escape that circle,
right?
Despite the fact that like that's probably your first instinct.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Then they moved on to job adjustments, so they had to make some corrections apparently. Oh god, this was annoying. So they talked about how there had been some stuff had been taken out of context about how they had adjusted some of the job adjustments. And then for a lot of you, you'd go, what do you mean? Where was that? How would I know about these job adjustments? Well, you see, it's at the bottom of the job guide.
But not on each individual job's page.
No, it's on the like index, like where you'd pay. What? I am so sick. Yes. If you go to the job guide and go to the bottom, it shows.
Oh yeah, patch 6.21 adjustments overview.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So Mela, when we were first doing the review, well, not the review, reading the patch notes for 6.2, like chat was mentioning that like they were taught that like they did these explanations, and I was trying like off screen, I was trying to figure out where is it? Like what?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea where to look.
Like, you know, when you go onto the page, it has the orange dots to show where it's updated. I was thinking, did they put explanations on the job pages, or is it somewhere further down?
That's what I thought. I thought they'd have like little notes on each job, like thing they changed and why. That's what I thought was the most obvious explanation.
Yeah.
Really it was a link in the patch notes, but it just took you to the job page. I didn't realize it was all the way at the bottom.
Yeah.
That was not made clear.
No.
Make that a little bit better.
That is a problem overall in 14, is that you need to be such a deep, like, you have to be so deep into this fucking game to know where everything is. You have to be a scholar. You have to be the 14 scholar.
Deep scholar of the 14 lodestone.
Yeah. Like, for instance, how many normal, like, players, like, I wouldn't call us normal because we're trying at least to be deep into, like, all of the things here. How many have read Backstage Investigators? Like, actually found it themselves, because
like how do people know how to find the dev blog?
Exactly. There's no way to find the dev blog other than like a button that they've doesn't it? It's so hard to find things. They need to be better at like sharing.
Like, outside of like the yearly anniversary for the launch of the game, it's so difficult to find like the previous Tales from the LXXIII stories that like people just don't even know they exist. And then every time it comes around, there are people on the subreddit saying, "Oh, these are interesting. Are there any others?"
It's they have so much content, but they don't know how to like make it accessible. they do have the lodestone. I don't know why they don't just post, like, especially for the dev blog. It's like, when there's a new post on the dev blog, make a little notice on the lodestone so people know that there's something new on the dev blog.
I bet none of you have been to the
heavily
glossary of
underutilized.
chat commands.
Well, they posted on their social media at least, right? Like they posted on Twitter. And
Yeah, they posted once.
On
Yeah, they do.
Instagram.
Yeah, that's true.
I was about
They
to
do
say, if they didn't do that, I'd fucking like riot. Like,
But
come on.
Do that.
Yeah.
There have been dev blogs in the past that were not promoted on their social media.
Yeah. It's very spotty. It's not, it's, I don't know what they're doing. And this feels like it's such an important thing for a normal player. If you're a veteran player, why would I ever click the job guide to check for, like, I'm never browsing the job guide. I feel like I know my class, you know?
I don't know why they don't just put it in the patch notes, to be honest.
It's
Yeah,
odd.
and it's like a normal thing like every other company does.
Yeah.
Like usually it'll be like, okay, here's the change, and then it'll be like, oh, here's our thought behind the change.
Yeah. You can, I mean, it's fine to have it on the job guide as well. That's fine. But when you're making the change, it makes more sense that it's part of the announcement about all the changes that comes with the patch. Why is that, like, excluded? It's weird.
Did you know there's an event and party recruitment section that looks like it was made in sort of 2003?
No.
Exactly.
No.
There's so many things on the website. If you actually sit down and start looking at everything on the lodestone, you're going to find so many hidden treasures that are just unused. Like, no one's using, like, there's maybe like a dedicated community of people that still use like really old parts of the website.
There's a patch notes history page. You can go through the patch archives to all the point patches as well.
Yeah.
And learn the promotional sites for even, every single patch.
Yeah. Yeah. They do publish patch notes for all patches. Yes. Well, all major like content patches, as they're called.
Gotcha.
Okay. Well, anyways, on that website, they had made some people had made inaccurate conclusions. There will only be numerical adjustments in 6.25. There are no skill changes coming up in this patch.
No.
Adjustments. The skill. Any further changes will come in 6.28. We don't have any information on what that is. The devs are aware of the current balance issues between melee and ranged damage due to hitbox changes. So they made the hitbox bigger, but
easier to hit.
Yeah, easier to hit, but it made an issue. That's an issue for ranged. They will be implementing some of the 6.28 job adjustments accordingly. So that means probably machinist buffs are coming.
Your number will go up. It will be your time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But also a big adjustment that a lot of people are probably happy about is that Paladin in PvP, their cover will be changed in 6.2.
Why?
Because it's just overpowered.
It's too OP.
Melee.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You get one little thing.
I think it's fine in like CC, honestly. Because like if you can pull it off someone just gets a free heal in the middle of combat.
I agree with
like,
you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But like and like fucking other game modes is kind of broken. Like especially
Well, that's the
particularly
issue with this game.
Yeah.
Well, particularly in Onsel Hakar, it's like so unfair.
It
You
is
can
unfair.
potentially protect someone, and then they can take the Uvu all by themselves, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the PvP was balanced around CC. They don't care about the other content. They need to sort that out.
They did that. They did care with Rival Wings, Mela. That's why it was
Rival
unavailable
Wings,
for a patch.
that is true.
Yeah.
They have put some effort into Rival Wings. Frontlines, they don't care.
Right. Yeah.
And you shouldn't either.
Well, that is changing now, October 18th, so in 10 days. And further job changes are also coming for PvP in 6.28. So 6.28 is going to be a much bigger adjustment patch than 6.25.
That's the main one, yeah. And then probably 6.3 will have some additional stuff.
Yeah. While so now we're going to jump around a little, but that's essentially the main points of the live letter.
Lackluster.
Pretty lackluster, but expected. I had no expectations for this live letter. The only thing I was expecting was like anything on the relic. We got none of that. So net negative, I think, live letter. But they moved on to the second part, which had some talks with, well, I'm just mentioning this now. Encyclopedia of Eorzea Volume 3 is happening.
It had some talks with Banri Oda, Natsuko Ishikawa, who are both senior story designers, and then Daichi Hiroi, who is the current lead story designer.
Yes. It was I think it was Oda that held up the cover for the book. It's empty, obviously, but it showed that it exists. It's like grayish,
brown.
Yeah.
It's like
it's not a very appealing color.
It has a little bit of
sophisticated.
It's got a tint of blue in it.
Almost.
Yeah.
I like that it looks different though.
Yes. Well, they all
well, the other ones they went from like
different.
brown to like reddish brown.
Yeah,
I quite like this one.
Well, we don't.
I would have preferred like blue or purple, maybe. But
yeah, I was expecting something like that, but oh well. It's happening, but they said that they weren't done with the Japanese yet, and so they still have to.
Well, they said they were almost done with the Japanese.
Yeah, but it wasn't done, and which means the English translation is definitely far away. So don't expect that for at least a year, I think.
And they're also only printing in Japan because they have the most superior printing technique in the world.
Japanese paper stock, so good, so amazing.
We will get back to when we think that will be available. So put a pin in that for now, and then we'll get back to it. So the reason why I didn't want to mention the second part of this, because we're jumping back again to before the Q&A with Oda and the others, because we have to talk about the new data center that they announced. There's North America's getting a new data center, which is part of their big expansion. We have the names. Dynamis is the data center.
Good data center name.
That's good
it's
because
a pretty good
Ether
name,
already exists in North America, so Dynamis works.
Yeah, thought out.
Yeah,
spoilers, obviously, but
very cool.
Well, I mean, Dynamis means nothing.
It means nothing if you don't.
I mean, like what you could be just thinking. Oh, Dynamis dice from 11.
That's
true.
It'd be worse if the data center was called Heidelin dies in Endwalker.
That's true.
Right.
Akusha.
Yeah.
Akusha would mean absolutely nothing.
Right. The 4 new worlds are pretty. The names on these
cringe.
are pretty, like Halicarnassus.
I love Halicarnassus. Halicarnassus is so awkward.
Yeah. Hey, I play on
Halicarnassus.
Hey, yo, you coming on Hallie tonight?
I think having Madeline and Marilith on the same server, or on the same data center, is like a little confusing.
Yeah.
I think they're too similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seraph is the only one I think is
pretty
okay.
If you're not playing on Seraph, you're not going to make many friends, probably. Like,
Seraph is the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we assigning this
server?
server? We should assign like this server, the community, like ourselves. What is the vibe of this one? We got the raid servers, we got the RP ones. What are we dating these people?
Oh, these are probably like the cringe Europeans who just like taking photos and stuff.
Okay.
Well, this is an American.
This is a North American data center. So you're saying
branching over.
Oh, these are where all the Europeans playing in North America, they move here. They move to Dynamis.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I want to know how long it takes for a data center to establish a culture, because maybe I don't play on it frequently enough, but I feel like the Australian data center still doesn't have like.
Oh no, that takes a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if Australia will ever really have one because it's kind of really. Like the player pool is kind of small, so
yeah,
it be everything kind of thing.
Yeah,
this will probably it'll probably just be for new players.
Actually, you know what? This server will be for all the weird housing people. These will be for the people that want to own entire wards. This is their thing.
Yeah,
that happens with all these new data centers. It's really sad. But at least the lottery system will prevent it somewhat now.
But this is their thing, though. Like they are entering like 20, 50 alts in every lottery.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I will become the landlord of this ward.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
choose a theme, but they're not quite. They just haven't had time to actually put it into place yet.
Right.
But I've totally got a theme going for this ward.
Yes. I also can't wait to see.
Housing.
Sorry, what did you say?
I was going to
Were
segue.
we
But
segueing?
okay, you have something much.
Yeah, no.
Well, because the next thing is related to what we were talking
Well,
about.
I just can't wait to see all the people struggling to spell Halicarnassus when they talk about their own server. I see a lot of those.
Come on down to Halicarnassi.
Halicarnassis. Yeah, they did the housing. Do we have the date for the? Oh yeah, it says at the bottom. So November 5th.
Yeah. So you've got 4 days to decide.
Also, I didn't mention, but November 1st is when the data center goes online, which is in line with patch 6.28. I wanted to show the photo of the Encyclopedia Eorzea because we were discussing the color. It's kind of hard to see the color. It reminds me of that dress where people see different colors. People see
Gold
different
and white
colors.
or blue and black.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see if we can find. Oh god, this is such a great system. There it is.
Oh.
There's Oda with the book.
I like that.
There is a reflection on
I
it.
think it's such a like a poo-poo brown color.
I love it. It's like an evil little book, though.
It's like the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted the third one to really have like a whimsical nature to it, though, because it's going to be covering all of Norvrant.
Well, maybe it's not.
So there's going to be no Norvrant content in it.
It's just gonna be
Is
no.
that what your claim?
I'm not going to say that's definite because it probably, but it is still Eorzea Encyclopedia.
That is true.
I mean, I think at this point you can just take that to mean that this is a
That's probably
encyclopedia
true.
written by Eorzeans.
Yeah, I think
Because
we've.
the second book had a lot of like the Far East in it.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
Still has Heidelin on it.
It does have Heidelin
I
on
mean-
it, the crystal, at least. The
I don't think we ever told the people that Heidelin is gone.
And they need to know one day.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, during this this part, they just
He looks thrilled to be presenting anyway.
Oda always looks like he's super bored all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they also talked about housing wards. They wanted to add more housing wards because that is the only way to deal with our housing system is to just keep adding wards.
This is exactly the same play they are going with for the glamour system.
Yeah.
More storage, more like pages or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Frames.
What are you talking about? Frames?
You know, with the glamour
Oh,
preset things. What are they called?
the plates. Glamour plates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do this. You can't just endlessly band-aid your
Oh,
problem.
they will.
No.
They will just keep
They
adding.
Listen,
can't
it's here to
do
stay.
anything else, Mela. They've explained it over and over again that this game is built on a house of cards.
Yeah.
Well, let it fall.
They also talked.
Okay.
They also talked briefly about the 1 week delay that they implemented for Abyssos Savage. Specifically, the people have been very positive about this, and they are now leaning towards making it a permanent thing. That they will always do the 1 week delay for Savage, which I'm fine with.
They
Yeah.
also talked about how that they thought this would put a damper on the crafted gear market, but it actually resulted in more people. The highest tier of crafted battle gear being more popular in terms
Right.
of sales.
Yeah.
More
yeah.
people would have had the time. If you do it on the same day, the only people who are making money are, I mean this in the nicest possible way, the no-lifers who spend the patch day just
You can't-
crafting.
Preface that statement by saying, I mean this in the nicest possible way.
No, I appreciate your dedication to crafting because there needs to be people like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes it impossible for people who were doing other stuff to get in on the market, really. So having it with the delay gives everyone the chance to
Yeah. They
have their fair
they
crack.
said that they were worried that the crafted gear wouldn't sell, which was not true.
No,
So
people will buy it. I mean, I think most people just buy it for looks anyway, aside from just like, getting the
Well, first people buy it because it's
Yeah,
the
world
best
first
thing
people-
available to
Well,
them.
I mean,
Yeah.
aside from that, like initial purchase, like, okay, I
Well,
need to-
yeah.
I need
Oh,
to-
yeah.
Once
Yeah.
everything in every piece of gear in this game, once it's no longer relevant, is only there for glamour.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it would have sold anyway, even if the Savage Raiders weren't going to buy it. Others would for glamour purposes. So
Yeah, unless it was ugly.
some people still buy it even if it's ugly.
Well, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
Look at Stormblood armor.
They talked about Island Sanctuary. This is a black and white moment for like last week, I think. They are working on enabling the placement of housing estate garden patches at island sanctuaries, but there is no estimated release date for this feature yet. So they're experimenting with outdoor furnishings technically, so that's promising. That's something. So you can, do
Limit
gardening.
it to the like the bit, your base of operations. That's fine. If you can't do it outside of that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, but yeah.
Well, obviously you
Being
won't be
able
able
to
to
shut things down.
place
But
it
you
like
never know.
on the island.
You
Well,
could make a little
I'm-
den on the other side of the island. That'd be cool.
I'm pretty sure the like your home base and the like overworld are like two separate like things, whatever that is. That's why they have to have that like narrow corridor, like the cave tunnel thing. I don't know. I think there's
But
some
you can
sort
fly.
of. I know, but you can't see borders when you fly. They don't need that for flying. There's probably two different instances that we'd never see, like seamless.
I don't know if I'd say they're two different instances, but I feel like they.
Well,
might be
I can't say it because
designed
I am not
separately.
a developer. I don't know the
No,
backend.
no,
Just
no. But
flag
like,
it in a certain way.
I feel like it would be flagged differently in the same way like sanctuaries are different from like the generic overworld. It's
Well,
probably something more similar to that.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. Except
I'm
you don't
sorry,
get a
alright,
resting bonus in.
I think your just use of instance it confused me. Sorry.
Well, what is it then if not an instance, a sanctuary?
Like
Well, it's
you
within
should- you
one
called them two
instance, but
separate
it's-
instances.
It does, yeah. It's
Oh, right. You're talking.
instance means like a server instance, so it's just for
I mean it in more
Yeah.
of an. Okay, right. We're talking about the same thing.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, that's what I was confused
Yeah.
about. Sorry.
Yeah. There are. Okay. Yeah. Devs are also working on allowing emotes to be used with fashion accessories. Who cares? Fuck it. They said that
Some
they.
people do.
If you do, then
I don't care.
bad. If you do, then bad.
Fashion accessories.
Yeah. They said that there's a memory thing. They used the same memory address or whatever, something. And it was difficult to deal with. So.
Yeah, sure. I twirl my umbrella, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hate not being able to dance with my fairy wings on. Ugh.
Yeah.
You can dance with your fairy
You
wings on.
can, Mela. This is for
Whatever.
umbrellas,
Yeah,
essentially.
well, so
But
stupid.
who cares? Okay.
Lots of
Anyways.
people do.
Yeah, but not me. So. Then they dropped this on us.
Oh,
Big
Mm-mm.
news. Pretty big news.
Yeah, it is pretty big. FanFest has been announced for
It's back,
2023 and 2024. This is where you have to remember the Encyclopedia Eorzea. This is likely when it'll become available with the North American FanFest, July 28th, 2023.
You would hope so.
Mhm.
And then London on October the 21st.
Thankfully, they're
London.
back to London.
Mm.
Oh, look at that.
And then
The Union Jack, Rollo?
you'll love to see it. Yeah.
and then Japan in early 2024. We don't have a
There
date
are
for that yet.
massive gaps between the fan
They are
that is
huge.
true.
Yes.
Yeah,
The,
yeah. Way big.
the North American one is on a Friday and a Saturday, which might seem confusing, but that is probably to account for the fact that it will be Saturday and Sunday in Japan, and they don't necessarily care about when it's happening for you Americans.
Right. Yeah.
No.
So yeah, there you go. This also helps to sort of understand when we're getting when we're getting the next expansion.
Mhm.
We're probably getting like an
Mid
early
2024.
early summer release probably.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah,
like now.
because
Mhm.
this would like the this would account for the delay, basically.
Yes.
That we had to
Yes.
deal with.
They're
so.
realigning themselves.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think that we probably will know what the expansion is about on July 28th.
Yeah.
That will probably be after like patch 6.4 at that point.
That
Yeah.
ties in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. There you go.
Yeah.
Live. Sorry, FanFest. It's happening.
They're back in Vegas, Rollo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was better than California, baby.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I have no desire to go there.
No.
I love that 110-degree weather in summer.
Oh,
Get
boy.
those people offering me stripper cards in the street.
I don't. That's what I was alluding to yesterday. And people said I was being rude.
Yeah.
Think about the
it's-
nerd sweat.
Gotta
Yeah.
collect them all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. So, you.
Well, are we
yeah.
gonna say if we're gonna try and go to any of them?
I think some of us
I
are
think
trying.
it's
want
pretty
to try
clear.
And go to the London one.
The London
I
one.
don't know
Yeah.
about you, Rollo.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just thought I didn't know if we were gonna.
I'm
try
not
something.
going to the US. I'm just saying that.
Oh,
No,
no.
no.
I was interested in going to the US one when it was in California. I have no desire to go to Nevada,
Yeah.
Rollo.
Yeah.
That's
So
fair.
I'll go to London probably if I go.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and do the London one. I'll
See
see if
that,
I can do
guys.
the.
It's
Vegas
so
one.
far ahead still. I just don't even want to try to think
It is very
about it
far
yet.
away.
Yeah.
It'll be October in London though, which I'm sure is like nice weather, right?
Oh, it's gonna be nice
Rainy
and
and
rainy.
cold.
Grey, rainy,
Yeah.
cold.
See,
Yeah.
that's what I like.
Is that what
Yes.
it's like right now, Mela?
Yeah.
It's been a bit chilly recently, actually.
Yeah. That's perfect. I love autumn. That's the best time. So
Don't worry, Lukiel. I'm gonna bottle some pollen during the spring for you. Don't you worry.
Starts throwing it at him.
yeah. Yeah.
Leave it on his pillow.
Mm-hmm.
3-month-old pollen.
See if it works.
I don't know if it still fucks me up. Maybe it does. Does pollen expire? I wonder. Okay, let's move on. They then had their usual merch stuff. They talked about the EP for Endwalker, the EP2.
The interesting thing about the EP, which is something that I didn't think about, is that like the two Final Fantasy IV songs are listed as Final Fantasy IV Battle to Endwalker and Troy and Beauty Endwalker. But the other one, which is Battle with the Four Fiends, is listed as Buried Memory, which I think Val pointed out in our spoiler channel, which I thought which is interesting because it probably means we'll probably get another remix of that song.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Probably true. Good
Because
one.
otherwise, why would they not specify just Endwalker like the other two songs?
Right.
Yeah.
They also pre-orders for the Endwalker vinyl LP, which has some nice artwork with the horrendous demon dog from hell.
Well,
And
you can't tell from this angle.
no,
I hate that dog.
Yeah.
I hate that dog so much.
God, I forgot her name. I can't believe I forgot her name.
No.
Oh yeah, Vana. Yeah. It's nice because it's not looking at you, the dog. So it's pretty. 3,300 yen. Is that the price? $34. And then the orchestral arrangement album, which we mentioned before, is also on sale. So
Yeah,
get
they're
that.
going
if you-
hard on these orchestral arrangements.
Yes.
They also showed us the winners of the Reaper and Sage weapon design contest.
Yes.
So congratulations to
Did
those
I win?
people. No,
No,
I can tell you right now that you did not win.
you did not.
And-
You should have though.
They are announcing a new furnishing design contest.
Yes. There's a new furnishing design
My
contest, so if you want to join
Sage
that.
weapon was really good.
Mhm.
Do
No, I can
a
guarantee
hair
you it
one.
wasn't.
It was
Please.
dragonflies.
Okay.
And they would
That's
go
not what
out
you
and like,
described to me.
oh, well,
No.
I would have lied to you. I wouldn't have told you my real one because you just copied it. It was dragonflies, and they would go up
You
in the air
would
and
have
change
just
color.
copied it, as if we
Yeah.
would
I have no
steal your
desire to-
design. I don't.
Yeah.
He's a snake. You never know.
That's true. Georgi
I
would
have
win and be
no
like, "I won
desire-
with my dragonfly design."
Where have I ever stolen from me.
No, that's
Ugh.
true. That's true.
Wow.
I do other more insidious things.
That's true. You wouldn't notice. You wouldn't know what he's done, Mela, until way later.
Yeah, he'd submit damselflies.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, I feel a little weird, and then you go to your doctor, and you're like, oh, you're missing a kidney.
Oh my god.
Hey, is your foreskin missing?
Yeah. What's wrong with you? You look all. Is that? Where's your leg? Where's your left leg?
What's that? What's that on your finger? It looks
Yeah.
like a ring.
It's just married you. Okay. All right. Anyways, let's talk about the live Q&A. God, we are. This is rough. This is rough. There's a lot to talk about. So this Q&A was with Yoshi P and Foxclan, but they also had some help from everyone who was like, around.
Such a strange idea for the Q&A. Do you
Yeah,
know how they ran
were
this?
they were doing
Yeah,
Labyrinth
they
of
did
the
it in
Ancients and Circus Tower. They were doing alliance raids essentially, and then
Yeah,
they would.
you had to get into their alliance raids.
Yeah.
And then that's how you got to ask the question.
Yes.
So dumb.
It's
Yeah.
basically a speaker stream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
See, I knew they watched us.
So someone asked, if you don't mind, may I know what the average lifespan of each race? What is the average lifespan of each race? So Yoshi P calls on Oda-san, and he says average lifespan. I'd assume there's no such info in the lore setting, but still, even if the lore setting has such info, I wouldn't think they'd make it public, since in the character creation, if players want to, they could have created a handsome old man if they put in the effort. And if we create a setting with average lifespan, wouldn't that make the characters they created to be, pointless because of the age setting? I mean, that could happen. But yeah, I don't think we'll release such info.
Yeah.
I like
that's
this.
true.
This
No, but here's the
implies
thing.
you can make an old looking character. You can't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that does.
Really.
You can make old looking heroes. The thing I
Yeah.
find amusing
With the
most
one-face
amusing at this
plate.
question
Yeah.
is that he's wrong. They have released this information.
Oh yeah, that is true. We do have some information on that. Do we know for all races? No.
We know an approximation. Not for Viera. No, Viera actually we do. Viera is like something like 300 years.
Yeah, they get old.
Which is the oldest by far.
Ellison get old too.
Hrothgar, yeah, Ellison get old, but not that old. Hrothgar, I don't think we have. Ellison and Lalafell is like something to like 120
Yes.
to 150, depending. And then like every other race is like average lifespan, so like 80 to 100.
Like on Earth, essentially. Yeah,
Yeah.
like humans on Earth. Yeah, I love that it's just
And obviously, this does not account for the fact that in Eorzea, much more likely to die young.
right. Are you planning to release new Ultimate for patch 6.3 and patch 6.5? Yoshida says, I have no idea why you would assume there will be new Ultimate implemented
It's
for
so
patch
rude.
6.3 and
I thought that was
6.5.
so funny the way he responded.
But we do plan on creating one more Ultimate for patch 6.x series, and we are exactly developing it right now. Yeah, it's the translation is going to be a little bit dodgy, but that's fine. But I don't think we'll delay it all the way and have it released on patch 6.5. Gotta say that the content for the next Ultimate will be quite something to behold.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll
We
be the
don't
judge.
even have necessarily. Sorry, Mela?
We'll be the judges of that.
Yeah.
We don't actually have the transcriptions of every question and
No.
answer because
Mm.
it was a lot for the people on the subreddit Discord to
Mhm.
transcribe all at once. So
For
Yeah.
14
this is only a
hours.
selection of what we have right now.
Yes.
Bless their heart.
For Crystalline Conflict, are there plans to implement team ranking for seasons as well?
Please.
Yoshipi says, of
I
course there.
thought this was such a boring question.
Yeah. Of course there are discussions on what to do for team. We've been talking about this. We've wanted this for
We
a long
need it,
time.
Yeah,
of
we do.
Of course, there are discussions on what to do for team-based, but we want to prioritize on the increase on the base part first. We do want to hold official tournaments based on region and other aspects, but in Japan, we do have other events like 14-hour broadcast. Why is that your example, which you do like once
no,
a year?
Nikhil, it's such big effort. They can't do anything around summer to autumn time because they've got to plan the 14-hour broadcast.
And we couldn't work much on it now, but we are proceeding through the plan behind the scenes, so we're going to start from official tournaments first. So again,
You've already had 2 official tournaments.
yeah.
Yeah, but not in Japan.
This is a
And
classic.
This was asked by a Japanese
I
person.
suppose, yeah.
But this is a classic Yoshi P non-answer. It is not answering the
He's
question.
ignored it.
They did not ask
completely.
about tournament rankings. They were talking about
No.
team rankings for seasons. Essentially, can we join with our PvP? Where is the Gobu Gobblers? Like, why can we
Yeah.
not be on the rankings?
You can't use them anymore.
No,
Essentially, no.
no,
There's no content that you can do in a team anymore.
nope. That's true. Is there? No, there's not. Because
No, there's not.
Jesus
pointless.
Christ, they've killed
And yet
another
they're
system.
happy. Of course, they love to do that.
And the worst part is they kill a system and they just leave it there. Like,
Yeah.
like as a painful
No, like-
reminder of what you've lost.
Yeah, exactly. It's
PvP
not that
team member Male of Anadar logged in. It's like, what does it mean? What does it mean?
Well, the thing is, when they make teams for Crystalline Conflict, they won't use the old system. They'll
They
make a
better.
Crystalline Conflict team.
Don't yog me.
At least we
Don't
still have
curse them.
fellowships. That's true. Thank God. Thank God.
Check your fellowships, guys.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
and
important
remember,
stuff in there.
if you need to find a group, there's always the community finder.
Yes. Yeah. The community finder. Shout out. There are some hairstyles where the front bangs will disappear when wearing hats. Is it difficult to have the front bangs displayed when wearing hats? I love the passive aggressiveness of some of these questions. I really like it. You can tell that this is a real frustration. It's like sometimes the bangs disappear when wearing hats. Is it difficult to have the front bangs displayed when wearing hats? just asking. Yoshipi says, well, for this question, if we actually start to delve into it, this will cause new hairstyles to be hard to implement, or there will be trade-offs happening to make this work. For hats, we tend to prioritize on the design first, and since it forcefully makes the front bangs disappear, we have no choice but to follow it when implementing it. And because of this restriction, we are able to implement new hairstyles into the game, so it's difficult to address this, but the pinpoint here is that if the request is about can you do something about it, then I'll have you know that our team that our team has people who are working hard to address the issue. So if you go to our forums and create a thread asking to address on the hairstyling question when wearing a hat, then it makes it easy to prioritize which to address it on.
Yeah.
This so offended.
If you just say every hairstyle, then it'll be hard for us to handle. So please be specific when making the request. God, he was in a mood during
so
this.
angry.
Yeah, so there you go.
Gosh.
Personally, this is another question. Personally, this is an issue that can already be foreseen, but due to the data center travel, it seems that mana became that one focus point for people to look for parties when raiding, which makes recruitment in other data centers feel neglected as a result. Is there something you can do to address this issue? Actually, I did somewhat foresee that this would happen. When cross-world teleport was implemented, a similar situation a similar situation already occurred. And since this caused the player's playstyle to change, it's a bit off the mark to say that players managed to find something that can improve their own experience. But players are used to the method they are comfortable with. So if we are told to come out with a method to address this immediately, then the solution would be setting up parties that are applicable to players of the same DC only for high difficulty content. And while this would be the fastest solution, we'll be wondering the point of DC travel here. People would of course go, okay, since we can travel to other DCs, then make it so that the matching with the other DCs are a possibility as well. And we could do that, but if we do, so would what? So
this is the longest run-on sentence.
He's ranting a lot.
Well, no, I think it's a result of the people.
Yeah, they're live
translating
transcribing it.
They're live transcribing. They can't necessarily format it nicely.
No.
I mean that, but also I'm like, this man is just.
He's a little unhinged here. And we could do that, but if we do, we wouldn't be implementing DC travel anyway. So considering we have reached a point where we can travel to other DCs without having to pay extra.
Pay extra.
Yeah, we gave you this service for free. This is not to say we're giving up, but this will require a long-term solution here, so we can't really provide you with an instant answer.
So we can't provide you with an answer after all that.
Also, since this involves DC travel behind the scenes, like for example, both me and Foxclone are a different logical DC, and somehow make the party recruitment accessible through penetration.
Whoa.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Oh my.
Wait, you and Foxconn do what? I'm sorry. This is what it says.
I'm sorry.
And managed to join. Despite what may I mean, I know this is live transcribed, but penetration, is that really what they said? And managed to join despite being at a different data center. Then when we match up to enter content, this will definitely happen, where people like me would travel from my original DC to Foxconn's DC, and depending on the traffic, this would take like 3 to 4 minutes in order to enter the content, or even take 10 minutes and above. To tell you the truth, we still need to observe further before we take any decision. No matter what, our short-term solution will include implementing something like a shutter, and ultimately, it's still better to use DC travel and travel from one point to the other, so that everyone gathers at one point. So yeah, please give us some time to observe the situation further first.
Oh, Christ.
I don't have any idea what he was talking about there.
What did that mean? What answer did you get from that?
I think TLDR to join
him and Foxconn are having a relationship.
If we wanted to implement a duty finder that was cross data center, it would take a very long time to match up, because the queue to enter the system in its current state, it takes 3 to 4 minutes to join on a good day. That still has to happen when you're being matched with another, so that's what he said.
They're also arguing that, like, because of the fact that DC travel exists, doing this would also kind of make DC travel irrelevant.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. The point is to go and match it with
He essentially says that the system we currently have was made so that you didn't have to sit there, on your own data center and have that, matching take forever. You travel to the data center, and now you can do all that content on that data center with, that data center, whatever. All right. Then he moved on to a new alliance, of course.
Yeah.
And now the important question. Yoshida-san, do you prefer smoking cigarette, or do you prefer smoking heated tobacco?
Heated tobacco.
Yeah.
Vape,
Right.
I think.
I think it might be a vape. I do smoke both, and basically, if I can smoke at the place that allows me to smoke, I definitely prefer cigarettes.
I don't think you phrased this answer like that. I think that sounds very awkward.
Yeah.
I do smoke.
Well, I think he says, there are anti-smoking laws in Japan.
Yeah, there are, but I think what he's trying to say is, when I smoke at places that allow me to do so, like if I can smoke at the place that allows me to smoke is a weird sentence.
Oh yeah, of course, obviously, but yeah. About the place named Corvos that is mentioned in Endwalker, will the Warrior Flight be able to visit in the future? UGP says, well, if you're talking about plan, then yes, we do plan on visiting that place, and our direction here is to allow to visit places that are actually named in game, but there are no immediate plans, nor we aren't clear when it will be, so we can't really tell when. But since we are in our second major patch after 6.0 and we plan on making 7.0, so of course there will be a lot of places we can visit, and not just Corvos. But you can also look forward to visiting other places and touch other cultures along the way as well.
Oh,
So you can look forward to that. I love touching cultures.
I'll touch your culture real good, guys.
Ooh.
No.
No.
Well, yeah. We're probably going to visit.
We'll go to Corvus
Corvos
one day, probably.
Yeah, and possibly
it's much closer to
before 7.0.
to Othard than I always thought.
Oh yeah,
So, right on the border of Othard.
Yeah.
Corvos is at Southern Ilsabad.
Yeah, like along the coast, but on the very east side.
It's on the eastern
above
side of it,
Thavner.
though.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. What's the most interesting raid you've done so far from the perspective of a producer
This is a
director
really long answer.
and a black mage? Yeah, strap in, everyone. This is going to be a bumpy ride. Yoshi P says, okay, now this is difficult to answer. This is difficult. Okay. I don't mean this as an excuse, but considering we've created many raid content for 11 years, coming with such vigor and running our journey this far, we don't really look back and remember them. Rather, if we do, we can't really move forward. Of course, we definitely will record our failures and use them as reference, what not to do next time, but my perspective doesn't really matter in this case. Since if I were to say this is good or state my preference, all the content may lean in that direction. Rather, what? So he's like, I can't say that anything's good because then they'll lean too far into that.
Well, no, he can say that it's good, but he can't really say, I prefer this over something else. He can just, what he can essentially say is, yes, this is like acceptable for release.
Yeah. Rather, each individual designers would do their best to create content and enjoy players' reactions to it, and that's what they paid attention to the most. For Black Mage, well, if you ask me which raid I had the most fun with the job, in personal capacity, that would be E8S, the fight with Shiva Reen. He got the tier name wrong at first. It's just a note there. He got the tier name for
Get wrecked.
Yeah, get wrecked.
Doesn't even know his own game. Yeah, right.
I'm better than him.
Since it allows for small tricks, and the more I play the content, the more I can find uptime in the content. Like, go to a certain spot through this ethereal manipulation to get more uptime and whatnot. And there's a lot of strats you can use in this battle, as well as everything that can be compatible with, which, compared to most other content, I probably had the most time spent in that fight. In terms of producer-director's point of view, there are many, but Alliance raid-wise, I think Ozma is the most interesting to date, since graphics or mechanics-wise, we managed to achieve upgrades on that, and everything was a new challenge at the time. And that makes the person who created that a reliable designer, someone I can rely on when it comes to battle content.
That is fair. It was a good fight.
Ozma was hellish when it came out. Other than that would be Omega. As I went through first half and second half of the battle, it really shows Nakagawa's number 2. Oh,
What?
that's the second Nakagawa. They have 2 Nakagawas working, I guess, in the battle team. Capability as a raid designer, despite not having prior experience. And while there are opinions about making the battle better for the second half and lessen the loop that occurred in the battle, but the growth and idea that is presented in this content really made it stand out. And that left quite an impression. Still, there are a lot. That is, if you want to talk from the producer-director's perspective. So, there you go.
There are a lot.
Next question. Although we have many themed costumes in the game, but only Namazu seem to only have head equipment, are there plans to create body equipment which is Namazu-themed here? This is such a Japanese question. This is one of the most Japanese questions yet. Yoshi P smirks. I mean, is there a need for this?
Agreed.
Just asking if players have the need for it. Looking at stream comments. Oh god, with his glasses like all up to the screen. I mean, yeah, he's wearing the frog bodysuit, but still the stream comments seem to mention that it's available. Oh well, people say it's necessary. Necessary, eh? Okay, I'll relay it to the dev team. Well, it's not hard to create it anyway, design-wise, so there you go.
All right, well, we're getting that.
We're getting finally. Your questions have been answered.
Yeah.
Your answers have been prayed.
Yeah.
You've been questioned and answered.
Yep. The left-hand MMORPG device that is personally supervised by Yoshi P, the Tactical Assault Commander that I had, is broken.
Tactical Assault Commander.
It's so cringe. I hate having something with that name.
Guys, I've got the Tactical Assault Commander.
That is oof. But when I brought this for fix, the maker told me that due to the end of production line, they can't accept any further as they have no spare parts required to fix it. So my question is, are there plans for a resale? Yoshi says, I will personally inquire Hori, the brand, about it. But this will depend on Hori's intention too. Well, since I do have the intention of making another device here and it's underway, so if there's updates, I'll make an announcement.
Yeah, so you can't get yours fixed, but you can buy a new one.
So he doesn't...
Well, they might have parts depending on how compatible they are.
That's true.
Interesting that you can't. That it's already out of production, and it's like so far out of production you can't even repair it anywhere.
I mean, they very much said that like it was built to pre-order. Like they didn't build any
but
more.
does
Other than
Hori
those
not
that were
make
ordered.
other?
Yeah, it's weird that Hori
devices?
doesn't like provide any spare parts for a product they've just made.
I planned to get one, and I thought like, oh, maybe there'll be a second batch.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say just made anymore.
But it's not something that goes out of date. It's a left-handed gaming device with a.
Yeah, it's a left-handed gaming device, Georgie.
Come on.
For you left-handed.
I always assumed it was just a reskin of an existing product, but I guess not.
Yeah, I did.
All right. This is on job balance, so this is a long one. This is on job balance. Since there are situations occurring where Paladin and Warrior are excluded from party recruitment due to their low DPS when compared to Dark Knight or Gunbreaker, until the situation was improved by adjusting Paladin and Warrior skill potencies. Though this is just one part of the blunder, I would like to know if you have plans on making better job balance in the future before a new Savage patch drops, and can't the adjustments and testing team work better in ensuring the job balance is better without having to go through such a blunder? I know this is a weird question, but this really bothers me, so hopefully you can address the concern I have in mind.
My lord.
Fuck you.
I like how he starts the comment. I like how he starts the question answer.
Oh yeah, right. Well, this is a spicy comment, but the core issue here is due to the DPS check, especially the max HP setting of the boss was a mistake we committed, and we did have many cases where they went prominently forward with it despite the mistake. And to tell the truth, we did have past cases where we tuned the HP by 1% to 1.5%, and this wasn't to say that it's a good situation here, but due to the numerical mistakes made, we ended up creating this situation in the end, and for that, we are really sorry. One thing to note, though, I don't know why people seem to think that the adjustment and development team are separated.
Here we go.
Yeah, but they're one and the same. The battle system team are also ones that perform adjustments here, so they definitely repeated the process of clearing the content they created before releasing it to the public, but well, you know, this is troubling, because we still have a disparity of 1 to 1.5%, no matter how hard we tackle the matter, so we definitely did our best to ensure the situation doesn't occur, and we did increase staff members for that team itself, but, well, this is troubling. Well, one of the ideal solutions we can think of is to lower the DPS check hurdle lower than our projections, but as stated in our announcement in the past, but considering we are creating high difficulty content here, we definitely want players to feel that they're getting closer and closer to the DPS check required with each attempt, so we aimed for the numbers that barely make the cut and adjusted it that way, and we don't want to give up on that kind of setting. I do think you're right in what you're saying here, but, well, what I can only say is that we will do better next time. And you think he's done.
Aww.
And in order to preserve their honor, and while this isn't related to everyone here, but I can say that there aren't many games that underwent such precise balance, but still 1.5, huh? To tell the truth, I don't want to find a solution to the problem where jobs are locked out from possibility, locked out from raids. This is a difficult thing to address because we've did a lot of reduce. Sorry, that's me. We've done a lot to reduce the possibility of it happening. Okay, I know I kind of say this a lot these days, but there are many cases where only a portion of information were spread like wildfire, and that information was treated as if it's some absolute truth, is something I want to prevent from happening. But this applies to almost every information from the internet, so I don't have an effective way to address this. So the safest approach we can take is to lower down the difficulty in general and make the content easily clearable without any hurdle. Yeah, it's safe, but I wonder if it's actually healthy for the game itself. But yeah, please allow us to keep challenging the numbers and quickly fix them when mistakes occur. And that's the stance we want to maintain if possible. And also, we did discuss on including staff members whose their job is to only hit the dummy continuously. And we did put out the recruitment, but not many would apply. So yeah, we're thinking a lot on this. And I'm aware this seems like a non-answer, but this is an issue we'll forever struggle on. So that's what we can tell you for now. So
surely they can repurpose the gold source of mini games, man, like usual.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a lot.
I feel like that was just him defending.
He's
Yeah.
still a little upset about some of that. I guess how
Yeah.
that turned out. But I mean, I guess fair enough. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think a lot of people agree with any of the logic behind the decision at all. But I mean, hey, you know,
Yeah.
I appreciate the explanation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love glamour, but I've always had to depend on external sites to look at how dungeon equipment and equipment that cannot be sold on the market board looks like. So I would like a feature in game
Yes,
where I can freely
would
check
too.
on how the equipment would look like at my on my character, like a catalog feature or something. Mayla,
Agreed.
did you get into
I
this?
was in the Alliance B.
I see. Yoshida says, "Oh."
Just convulsing,
Yeah.
like a demon's inside of him.
And he says, "No, I mean, since we implemented the fitting room feature for the shop," refers to the Mog Station equipment, "this actually sounds possible.
Yeah.
We can do this. But I'm thinking more on the management aspect involved in this, and with the dungeon that is dropped at the specific dungeon."
Dungeon gear, I assume.
Oh.
Yeah.
"As well as equipment which is craftable. Well, I say I don't
When I say ID.
Oh, ID. I don't mean instance dungeon, but the item ID itself. When changing the location, it will also change the management data as well." Yoshi P starts to mumble about if using this method then might work. But this still isn't impossible to do. Mumble some more. "I do think this is actually possible, although it will take some time. So I'm going to move this idea forward and see what we can do about it." It's a good point.
There you go, Mela.
It is a good point that the Mog Station
This
fitting
isn't what I
room.
want, but it is a good thing to add.
But the Mog Station fitting room is kind of similar to what you want, Mela. And it's curious that they chose to put all their effort into making that instead of one for the actual game.
I would
That's
imagine that the Mog Station one was like more encouraged internally by like
I know.
higher ups.
I
in
mean, I
Square
was just
Enix.
implying. I just didn't want to say it outright. But yes,
The thing
okay.
is,
But
that's why I said
I mean,
curious.
it would be all right to have one like that, but it's not actually a very good menu. The fitting room.
No, but
it's
it's
awfully designed.
But once it's in the game,
I mean,
Mela,
it's better
you
than
can
nothing.
adjust the UI later.
yeah,
Changes to a UI can be made, but you first need
It's
the base
better
system.
than nothing is such a Final Fantasy 14 thing.
Yeah, but that's the game we're
But, I
playing.
mean, it's-
That is
yeah.
the game.
yeah.
So
I mean, yeah. What do you want? Nothing.
get
Or do
it
you
in
want-
first and then adjust. I think is the best way
We'll
to
see.
go
But
forward.
This would be good because he's right. How do you know if you want to run the burn?
Right,
I know.
The
exactly.
glamour.
What if
Yeah.
it looks ugly on me? What if my dumpy
Yeah.
don't look good with it?
Exactly. And also with the comment I just made, get it in the game first and then adjust the UI. They've already put it in the game. It already exists in the game, which means they can give us a better version for the non-Mog Station,
One
the
day.
catalog. Okay. I do remember there was a conversation about implementing joint ownership account for personal housing. But I haven't heard of updates regarding this, so I'd like to know if there are any updates. Yoshi says, about this, due to how the priority we have for other housing-related things is currently higher in the list right now, we can't really touch on this one yet. As already mentioned a little during the live letter earlier, our priority right now is further optimization and additional housing wards, so that more players who want a house can obtain them. So we have already invested our cost in this, so please wait for a bit. It essentially means we are never going, because this issue is never going away. We are just constantly going to add housing wards. So essentially, never
must be a
ask me this
limit.
again.
There's got to be a limit someday.
Is there?
Unless they just
Time will
do
tell,
they just
Mayla.
do they just plug in more servers
They-
to the housing section?
They are just endlessly throwing band-aids at the system in hopes that one day it'll sort itself out.
You can always buy more servers. There's infinite copper.
That's right.
We can do it.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
And another solution is they just reduce the amount of days you have before they'll take them away from you
Yeah.
if you don't visit them.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
every day.
a lot of this, the other questions here are not really filled out properly, so we're not going to talk about them. I did want to mention that they wanted to add a new whiteboard feature where it's possible to do strat planning in game.
That would be fun.
So if that's successful, they might implement it in other content like raids.
I made an update to the fucking patch notes, but of course Lakil can't see it
Oh, I have to reload it then.
Doesn't update. Yeah.
Yeah, the app on my Chromebook is pretty shitty. Sorry, where are we?
The grayed out ones are the ones that we shouldn't talk about because they're either incomplete or inconsequential.
That doesn't show up at all for me, so I have to open a browser. Okay. Hold on. Dead air.
I would like a whiteboard feature though.
Yeah, whiteboard feature would be
nice.
cool.
Listen, fuck a whiteboard. Give me a good death log already. I'm so tired. I want to know exactly how I died. I'm so tired.
No, Rollo. Just scroll through the endless things and work it out for yourself.
Yeah. All right, Ishgard restoration and the ranking was fun. Is there any plan to implement content like this in the future? He says a small-scale content like this is possible. A small-scale version, I suppose, of this.
It was fun, but
yeah,
it was interesting.
It's like world stuff, like overworld stuff that you can do. It's all right. About side quests, about side quests, he mentioned that Gaia will apparently appear in the future, so her role in the game is not over. Yeah.
I wanted to mention this one because I just wanted to hear the Mailer's being upset because he hates every woman in this game under the age of 18.
Yeah. She
other than Alize.
She will be back. So specifically it seems in a side quest.
She would.
Right, yeah.
No, I welcome her. Actually.
Her story isn't
really
over.
Great. Yeah, she's a great character.
Regarding Carbuncle Pet Glamour, we already stopped the development for it, Yoshida says.
We've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. The effects
over.
The effects will need to be remade. I'll need to ask the character team. I heard you want a proto Carbuncle to be summonable.
No.
You'll get eaten though. You'll be fine with that? That's what he said.
We don't want that. What we want is for you to make good on your promise from about 5 years ago of adding in glamours for Eggies. That was Sephiroth was mentioned.
Well, that's
and
the same thing, Mailer, at this point.
Yeah.
But Proto Carbuncle, we don't need new ones adding on. You still haven't done the ones you promised.
Right. Yeah.
Gosh.
Lack of healer participation for the Savage raid. Anything needed to reflect on? Yoshida says, points to reflect on. Point to reflect on? But we also have situations where the lack of tank participation and whatnot, and it depends on the timing and situation. There was also the request to make healing harder, so we try to fulfill that request too.
Oh, no, please. Not
I don't understand the question. Is the question implying that there's that it's brain dead for healers, the Savage raid?
That's
because I disagree.
I don't know if I think probably what the question was aiming at, and this is just me guessing, is that they were hoping for more healer DPS content. I don't really know.
Maybe it's too pure.
Oh, is it a shortage? There aren't enough healers to go around for Savage. Maybe there aren't enough healers in the world.
Oh well,
that might be a problem, but I don't know. The answer implies that it's something else, though. I don't know what that means. I do notice that we've scratched this out, but thought it was interesting. We'll probably talk about this if this gets filled out, the next question. But someone started talking about third-party stuff, and Yoshida essentially said, this is not something we want to touch further on. It's just dismissive, but it is implied that there might be more information on this, the answer later.
Bring other cool HUD stuff from mods. Thank you.
They've said that. That's what their plan is.
Yes.
But keep doing it.
7.0 is probably going to be a pretty
7.0 is actually going to be a big deal
transformative for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7.0 is make or break.
Yeah. I feel like we say that with every fucking expansion. This is the one.
Because
this one I agree with, though. This one is big.
This is the first one in the new story arc.
Yeah.
So if we think the direction of the game is awful, that's not going to be great for the future of the game.
Right. We're looking at new graphics, possibly HUD updates. Hopefully, I hope they do a real cleaning of the back end, net code and all that. Just
that would be nice.
Clean it up a little.
God, that's so crazy. That is going to happen.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, we're gonna start
live safely, everyone, so we make it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. God. All right. Any plans to sell? Any plans to sell Soken acrylic stands? If possible, I want Yoshida acrylic stand as well. Yoshida says, very reluctant level answer to be edited. Oh, sorry, this isn't done. He was basically hesitant in implementing joke level goods because he knows people will be asking for it. And like you said before, joke items don't sell.
Don't actually sell.
Yeah. So someone actually made a 360-degree bag with Yoshida's face on it, and he said he was fine with it as long as they didn't start selling it. So there you go. This is great. I thought about Mela, of course, when I saw this. Any plans to rerun the Yokai Watch event in the future? Want weapons for Reaper and Sage. Yoshida says,
make my efforts invalidated.
And
again.
even more. We'll try to ask Hino-san to see if possible. This was Yoshida said.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's fine. Just,
there are new weapons.
Bring back.
And there are new jobs that don't have weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind seeing new weapons for anyway.
This is exciting. Someone asked a possible collab with Kingdom Hearts, and Yoshida says if he wants to do it, he doesn't want it to make it just a simple collab, but more of a crossover. But Yoshi cannot promise anything. They need to look into it first and see if it's possible, but it's not going to be easy. But that means the door is open.
It's the most open to this question he's ever been.
Yes.
I'm predicting that the biggest crossover, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be because they're like, oh, we can't just put Sora in there.
Right, yeah.
They're going to make Keyblade Master a new job. That's the crossover.
No.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be.
Hell
the
yeah.
Keyblade Wars have come to Eorzea.
Yeah. Like, oh god, so much they could do with that.
Yeah, but you're not going to get any of the none of the Disney stuff's going to be there.
Well, absolutely not. Well, no one wants the Disney stuff.
No one cares about the Disney stuff in Kingdom Hearts.
No,
I know.
You just endure it to get to the embarrassing cutscene.
That is a very non-Kingdom Hearts player thing to say as well. Like, what about the Disney stuff? Like, excuse me, the Disney stuff? The shit that we cringe at, but we have to get through just so we can get some story. No one cares about the Disney stuff.
No, they shouldn't care about this stuff, but it's an unusual game.
Kingdom Hearts
to be
is
like,
weird.
I have to suffer through this.
I care about the Disney stuff, and I think some more people care about it than they like to admit. But it's also the least important.
The only Disney stuff I care about is Goofy and Donald and Mickey, and even saying it makes me feel ashamed. Even uttering those words that I care about Goofy and Donald and Mickey Mouse. I'm a grown ass man. I can't sit here and talk about how I care about the story of Donald and Goofy. What world am I living in?
Okay, I feel no shame about that.
I feel ashamed.
Very important.
That shames me deeply. All right. We're gonna have to cut some content here.
You can probably cut.
I think we're gonna have to skip Naoki's room. Not a lot happening there. There's a Q&A there though.
The Q&A. The first question I think is interesting.
Okay. So this is Hermes' Japanese voice actor. Matsuoka-san felt that the portrait setting was personally a lot easier to customize prior to the update, and the impression right now he has is that because of the current setup, it's a bit troublesome as a person who does crystalline conflict. What did I just read? What was the what did he
says He's saying that portrait customization was easier before the full implementation of the system.
Okay.
Yeah, it's harder to use it now than once before.
Yoshi then addresses Matsuoka-san's concerns by saying that the system's usefulness, when fully understood and fully used, has become something that only the players who went through the difficulty of understanding it could use, and originally they should have implemented it together with the gear set. It was overly difficult for them to achieve the current convenience of the feature, so they changed it to the current setting, and that was the story behind the current setup. Since there's currently no copy feature and how editing each plates feels like a chore, so they're trying to do something about it and update it for patch 6.3.
That's positive. I mean, it's still a bad system.
Yeah.
Because the moment you change one piece of gear, it defaults like usual to the standard pose.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I feel like oh yeah, I got my pose right. I'm gonna go into Crystal Conflicts. There's gonna be my instant portrait. Every time it's like, no, your default posing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what did I do wrong this time?
Yeah, yeah.
Just let me use a portrait in a class I might not be, in gear I might not be, or whatever. Or just whatever. Just let me pick what I want it to look like. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bizarre.
Okay, another one from Uchida-san. Who's that?
Raha's voice actor.
Okay. He wants to provide voice for your character, Warrior of Light. You know, the one where you grunt, laugh, and so on? That one. His reason is that it's time to provide some more variation for characters. He especially mentions voices that are more Eastern in style. But whichever it is, he wants more variation in character voices. Oh yes, a more Eastern grunt.
I prefer an Eastern grunt.
Yoshi P is quite receptive of the idea and thinks it's a good idea to add more voice variations, but is worried about the packet communication that comes with it. This will shock no one. The current voices that exist in character creation are the ones created following the flow set for Final Fantasy XI. And since the game is meant to be global to begin with, Yoshi P made the request to never make the voices sound too Japanese. That's oddly considerate for a Japanese game, I would say.
Well, the settings very much
the settings
are more of a Western fantasy, so it makes sense.
It's true. Well, not anymore. There's a lot of Eastern stuff in there now.
Well, that's specific. That's a specific continent.
Why can't the people in the East have Eastern grunts then?
Because there are no characters.
If your character's from the East,
none of.
Why can you not grunt in Japanese? I want a grunt. I want a Japanese grunt, dude. Fucking give me what I want. I want a Japanese grunt.
11 didn't allow it.
I can tell that grunt was made in France. I will not have it.
Well, none of them were made in France. They're actually all made in Japan.
Makes no sense.
Western.
But but Yoshi P is receptive of the idea, and having the variation where the voice sounding more Eastern/Japanese would be a nice addition as well. Okay, you know what? I don't want to know. A hint from Yoshi P, aside from the graphical updates, Yoshi P had also had a meeting about looking into adding variations and customization to character creation, and so on, but no promises for now. They are still looking into whether the plan will work or not, and if they do, there might be trade-offs. Since the voice variation wasn't brought up for discussion, Yoshi P will give it a try.
I included this because, like, maybe more face play.
You're looking
Maybe.
increasing an MMO in 2022 that has more than 5 face options. I've never. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have to skip there was also a quiz, but I mean, obviously, it's weird to talk about a quiz that has happened. You know, give commentary on something that has concluded. It was a nice quiz from what I've seen. I haven't actually watched it, but it looks like it was a lot of fun.
The host wears a very interesting shirt with Soken on it.
Oh yes, the cursed Soken shirt. Yeah, I did see that.
There's a section where they had. I'll just quickly mention one section. There was a part where they just had to ask. Where Soken's job was to answer questions. He had a list of 10 things about him that his team said they liked about him, and he had to guess what they were. His first guess was that he likes chicken karage.
Of course.
Which was correct. It was number 9.
Number 9?
His third guess, which was not on the list, was that his office is close to the toilet.
Nice.
What a quiz. This was.
Yeah. We'll wrap up with some tidbits from the Sakaguchi and Yoshi P chat, which was essentially 2 old men just talking about life. And
this is what I want to be.
This is us in 40 years. We're just gonna sit and talk like this. Yeah, they also ate like some meat. Some meat was served.
Don't mean to be horrible, Luke.
Yeah.
But this is in like 30 years.
Sakaguchi, we learned, is only 60. He's turning 60
This is
soon.
sooner than you think.
Yeah.
We're halfway there.
Oh, can't wait. Can't fucking wait. Yes, so Sakaguchi's progressing through Savage. He has finished P7S. So
60-year-old man is doing better.
Oh, you're getting owned by a fucking geezer.
Yeah.
Hey, he's retired. He has all the time in the world.
Our problem is that our raid team just never raids. Like we just don't raid.
We raid once a week if we're lucky.
Yeah.
They're taking time off for their birthday and stuff.
Yeah, like who does that? Who does that? Yeah, he's an off tank in the raid.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
More fun being main tank because you're the pro.
Yeah.
Feels good.
His answer. He found it insufficient in trying to raid with a normal monitor, so he had to buy an ultra wide one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Wow, he's so dedicated.
He's
Yeah.
a gamer.
Yeah, he is. He considered trying the game through other means, like using specific controllers. Yoshipikan commented that there's one who's using foot pedal type controllers to control their 14 character.
Cool.
That's like, I don't even understand why, but sure, if you think that's fun, do it.
Well, I mean, I think it's cool the kind of people that this is very complicated, but I like the idea of people that set up systems so that like when they walk in real life, that's like walking in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is a weird tangent that they went on, but there's a player that multi-boxes the game with 24 controllers, which he's struck a friendship with lately. Which is interesting because pretty sure multi-boxing is against the terms of service. So the fact that Sakaguchi just brought that up, and Yoshipi says, he's amazed that there are so many players who plays the game with extremely different methods, and he is aware of the guy who plays the game. And I love that the translator puts multi-box in just to remind us that this is achieved through multi-boxing with 24 controllers, and does follow his progress from time to time. That means I don't understand how that even works.
That's so much money for why?
Yeah.
What are you?
I think that's good though,
challenge.
because by the time the first guy's finished his crafting macro and you've just got to the last controller, you can just go straight back to the first controller, set the macro going.
How? Okay, again, this shows how inconsistent they enforce the terms of service. This is one dude that the producer director knows about.
Mm-hmm.
He has 24 illegal, 23 illegal accounts multi-boxing the game. Why is he allowed to continue?
He's funding their fried chicken nights at the office single-handedly.
It's weird, just considering how like some people lose their account for lesser crimes. It's interesting. It's something we discuss a lot. It's just how weird how inconsistent they are in enforcing the terms of service. Sakaguchi talked about his experience playing EverQuest, which happened when 11 was in development, and how he quit SquareSoft halfway through development. Halfway through development of 11. Is that that's when he left Square? Interesting.
I think so.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like 11 is sort of the last game that was developed while Sakaguchi was still in Square. So
that was his greatest shame for letting that one happen.
Yeah, agreed. And then he moved to Hawaii in penance.
Yeah.
Vanished himself.
Sakaguchi is also happy with how the game utilizes the Goblin in Shadowbringers, which is the Goblin in Yulmore. Sakaguchi is also happy with how Sakaguchi is also happy with how Yulmore looks like, commenting that it's very Amano-ish in design. And Yoshipi commented that they do pay attention and are careful in trying to bring in Final Fantasy 1 elements into the first. And to that, Sakaguchi, he doesn't just feel happy, but he feels something fuzzy about how his creations were implemented in the game.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that is cute.
I mean, you probably remember that this is a bid. Final Fantasy 1 was like a bid to not go into like bankruptcy. It was like, this is the final attempt of making this company work, or this, we're making our fantasy game.
It's kind of, that's kind of a mythos
put that
around
much.
that.
But like he wouldn't have put in like endless amounts of thought into the designs, I don't think.
No. That has grown to what it is now is probably really absurd to him. Yeah. So let's move on. Oh yeah, I thought this was just funny. They brought up Metaverse, which drives me. Metaverse is the most annoying shit that exist.
The thing I don't like about the thing I specifically don't like about the Metaverse is we've had essentially the same thing before, and they looked better.
Yes, I agree. Yeah,
Second Life alone.
We already have VR chat and fucking Second Life. It's still fake.
And it's so annoying that they do.
PlayStation Home looked better.
Yeah.
Yes. The thing is, the alien, Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg, he heralded like the metaverse is like the next generation of like, this is unlike anything you've ever seen before. It looks like if we tried to make VR spaces during the N64 era, it looks the shading is just, there's no shading, there's no texturing, everything's like flat and smooth and weird, and you're like it's so bad.
I just don't understand how it's like they hired no graphical artists.
No.
It's weird, isn't it? Because then you look at the Microsoft ones, like their augmented reality stuff, where they're like collaborating in like a real space, but with people who aren't there, and it's like that's a great use
cool.
of this sort of technology.
You can see the future like potential of that.
Yeah.
While metaverse is just like,
I don't understand metaverse.
See the potential in a metaverse, not just the. Not the metaverse.
It's just that we've already made better tool. Like VR chat exists, which is a better tool.
Can I get legendary clothes on it? Probably.
After seeing those fucking Elon Musk texts come out about the Twitter bid shit, I just think anyone behind any kind of tech company is one, insane, two, has no clue what they're talking about, and three, just make shit up every single time.
yeah. And especially
they just say stuff and they think it happens.
It's true. And it's especially annoying for people that play MMOs, because when Metaverse was introduced, it was like, this is unlike anything you've ever seen before. You can sit at home and you can play games, the same game, with someone else. Can you imagine? Can you imagine something like that? Walking around in a world with real people and then be like, hey, how about we do something together? Let's play a game. Unheard of. Breaking new ground. That's what drives me mad. Is like this MMO erasure that's going on. Anyway,
that's nerd shit.
Yeah.
Get that out of here.
What's funny is that they start talking about, they touched on metaverse. Sakaguchi commented that the whole thing was created mainly based on profit. They do say translation will be checked later on, but I mean, it's true. With blockchain, Yoshida once again reiterates that such technology will not be implemented in 14 because it doesn't fit.
I mean, we already have that anyway with the signatures on your crafted gear. That's
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
we already got the blockchain.
That's right.
Money.
No,
exactly, just like the blockchain.
Yeah, right. Once Yoshi P said they won't do it, he wouldn't do it. I don't know. I don't know who he refers to in this case, but someone.
He as in himself.
So once he said he wouldn't do it, he wouldn't do it. Once Yoshida said he wouldn't do it, Yoshida wouldn't do it.
Once he said the 14 team won't do it, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't allow it to happen.
Okay, it's still in a... Once Yoshi P said they won't do it, he wouldn't do it. Okay, those who understand it, understand it. And Yoshi P doesn't find himself able to describe nor discuss metaverse.
Speaking briefly about blockchain, Mr. NFT was there at the start of the 14-hour stream. The CEO of Square Enix, and he was there for the reveal of the that they'd passed the 27 million registered users account, and everyone is saying he doesn't look happy, and then someone commented it's because the NFT market has crashed to the ground.
Yes.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah. He's put all of his.
Well, what's so fucking annoying is that the NFT market was crashing into the ground when they announced the NFT plans. Like, what a fucking idiot. Okay, so at the end, Yoshi P apologized that the segment was mostly two old men talking, and then commented on how life could be wonderful and good things can happen if one keeps living.
That's something to remember.
So, there you go. And that essentially is the 14-hour stream in a nutshell. And don't forget that that's what FoxClan looked like throughout all of it.
He looks like a little creature.
Yeah.
If anything ends up being translated as particularly relevant, we'll cover it next week, but probably only like as a recent event.
Yeah.
But
I think we've covered I think if there was any like breaking, I think that would have been translated first and circulated already. So I think at this point we've covered it all. Okay, well that's it for the main show. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember, tomorrow Spooktober continues. We'll be playing Ghost Watchers. So, scary times ahead. If you're watching live,
Mogmail.
speakersxiv.com/mogmail. That's important. We do need mogmail. So if you have any thoughts about what you've just heard about the live letter or the 14-hour broadcast, throw it in a mogmail and we'll discuss it next week. All right, that's it. Remember, if you're watching live, the post-show is coming up. Very short post-show with questions from the Syndicate. Thankfully, there was only 2 questions. So remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfHighland, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation Discord and chat if you're watching on demand. Links in the description. Yeah, like I said, Mogmail, speakersXIV.com/Mogmail, and we'll be going into the post-show after this if you're watching live. All right, see you next week or tomorrow. Goodbye!
Bye!